Sinister schemes of the stars and stripes. Here we go.
Here we
What's up,
go.
y'all? Welcome to another
Hello.
episode of Stormwatch with Murewa Ayodele and Antoine Dotson. How y'all fellas doing?
Doing
Doing
good, doing
great.
good. Hi, everyone.
So, this has been an interesting week in comics. We'll get a little bit more into it later, but let's just say yours issue was the least problematic issue in our community this week. What's up to everybody in the chat? Welcome everybody. Steve Turner. Who else we got? Kevin Pitts up in the building. What's up? Who else we got in the chat? Pericles Dragon Balls. What's good?
Stormwatch Thursday.
Hadari Yao. Black Panther. Everybody's just jumped in the building and meeting. Everybody's waiting. DeMarcus Bird. Hello, everyone. Everyday Adams. Butterfly Kiss. What's up, Butterfly? Leon.
Thank you.
Howard Yates. And my boy, Eclectic Blurred Nietzsche. AJ. Lita and Trish. Those are Antoine's peoples. Marwan. What's up, man? All right. Welcome, everybody. All right. So let's jump into it. Let's start with our recap of issue 8.
Yes.
So Storm got arrested by the feds.
Mm-hmm.
We find out this Fed guy is actually an alien from some unknown race, heretofore, so for unknown race. Asking her, grilling her through a whole bunch of questions. She came prepared for a bunch of stuff, but not the stuff that they actually were interested in. As it turns out, they're more interested in what she's got going on at Storm Sanctuary than any of her other activities. What are you doing with Charles Xavier? Why are we getting these weird power readings from your crib? And she eventually gets upset with their questions. And we are also introduced to these other federal agents. These are mutants, right? They're not aliens, right?
No, there are different categories of people that will be reviewed gradually.
So we know literally nothing about this crew of people that are working for the feds. Do they have a team name yet that you haven't described, let out yet?
I haven't revealed that yet. So
Not
far,
yet.
they're just the FBI agents. Agent Fabi is task force basically. But I mean, there's no official name that has been published yet.
All right. The other cool thing that got revealed in this issue was the one god over all of storms. God. The storm god of all.
Mm-hmm.
Is he also the one known as the Black Winter? Or
No,
is that a different entity?
The Black Winters basically serve him, and in Storm 12 we're going to review the link between them, between the Black Winters and the first Storm God.
All right. So this is our revelation as to who the main storm god is. It's Hadad. He's the baddest of the bad, the top of the top. He's the one they all bow before in terms of power levels, etc. But we have not seen him yet. And now it brings us to Storm number 9. Now, this is the prelude issue to Thunder War.
Right? War. Yeah.
Which starts next issue.
I'm so excited for it. Extremely excited.
I'm excited that you're excited, and you make us excited by what you put in these issues. Love these covers. Mateus Manahini, as usual, with cover A, is bringing the heat.
They're all stunning.
Antoine, who's the one on the second? You're always the cover guy. Who's who on the second?
Nimit Malhal, I think is how you say it.
That's dope.
Yeah. And then
And then
Jeff DeCarl is the last one.
let me tell you, that Jeff DeCall, I've been looking at that cover all week. I can't.
A lot of people, like that.
I can't. I had to make it the thumbnail for this episode because I'm obsessed with this cover. This might now be my favorite Storm cover. And that's saying a lot because she's had a lot of dope covers. But I don't know what it is, but I am obsessed with this cover. This is the cover for me.
It's the grace, the confidence, and the power. That thing,
Yes.
Yeah. And a lot of people have been enjoying it. Everybody's sold out of it. You can't even find it at this point.
Yeah. When the pre-orders came out, they didn't really reveal the image. So that in itself made it an under-ordered issue. So yeah, if you could get your hands on this, thank the goddess above, because this is a bad cover. This is a bad cover.
Just smite on you.
All right. So Storm's locked up with the feds. She's starting to feel a little despondent based on the grilling she's getting.
Still looking gorgeous though.
Still looking gorgeous. Check out the hair.
I love the hair.
Out the hair.
Yeah, you can see what I was saying in the last interview, that it's taking us a while to like get used to the hair extensions as the art team, So I can see that in this issue it looks better than the previous one. So in the next one it's going to even look better than this. So it keeps getting better.
So let me ask you a question. When you decided a couple issues ago to have Storm cut her hair, was this always the end goal? Like, did you plan to do this with the extensions and everything?
Yes, that was always a goal.
To give her this look.
And I did just want to come out of nowhere. I wanted to have emotional weight, and the hair cutting was the journey there.
Damn, man, you're so deep, Rhea. There's never any like random stuff in your writing, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
it's so few writers I come across these days that have such attention to detail as you do. So she's like, I need to make my phone call. So who do you call? You're a superhero. You're in legal trouble. You're locked up. Who do you call? It's either, you only got two choices in the superhero community. It's either Matt Murdock or Jennifer Walters. She calls Jennifer Walters. She doesn't pick up. She's busy. Probably in court, probably in a big trial, doing an appeal, writing a brief, doing something sensational that sensational She-Hulks do in the courtroom. Right? That's why she's not picking up her business call.
Well, no.
Where is she right now?
She's at the Storm Sanctuary, having an MMA style, fight club with Maggot and the gang, where Blue Marvel is the referee. Now,
hold on. I asked you a while ago, Murewa. I said, hey, it'd be dope to have Blue Marvel in your Storm run. And you wryly said, as you often do when I make these random requests. And I'm thinking, hey, maybe he might do it. And he'll be, flying through space and battling eternity with his cosmic powers. I did not expect this.
It's supposed to be like cool cameo kind of things. The first one is that it was in issue 2 in the picture when it came to, it was one of the people that helped start up the Night and Day Hospital for the Extra Mundane, and now it's that he's a referee. It's just cool cameos here and there.
I appreciate that because Marvel has tremendously underutilized one of their most powerful superheroes, which is the Blue
Yeah,
Marvel. So
I would
any
really love
cameo,
this too.
any instances you can get him in the comic book, I'll be happy. All right.
Yeah.
So perspective, okay? Because
Mm-hmm.
when last Storm saw Maggot, she said, "Yo, go to the crib, lock it down. Stuff's coming. I need to keep my stuff safe. Just wait for me to get back." Okay, boss. He goes off. And then we have these MMA style UFC bad man contest things going on in her lawn. But as I pointed out just a couple minutes ago, Murewa Ayodele never does anything randomly. And as it turns out, I don't think Maggot is doing this randomly. I have the question for you. Why is
Okay.
he building some type of army with these trials, these fights? What's going on here?
Okay. So just to like put all the connecting tissues together, it's basically Storm always knew that the FBI were up to something, that they wanted to get her as far away from her home for as long as possible. So she already got extremely powerful individuals, not knowing what they will cook up. She already got extremely powerful individuals to stay in the sanctuary. And Margot being the bored, someone that easily gets bored, is like, you know what? Since we are preparing for the Thunder War, because he's also going to partake in the Thunder War. Since we're preparing for the Thunder War, let's do some MMA style battles. Let me use it to train. Let me use it to get my groove on. Let me use it to boost my confidence. Because when in issue 7, when he fought with the Thunder Gods, it was extremely rattled. It's all of a sudden you're fighting guys that are like way stronger than you are, way faster than you are, and everything. So yeah, so it's the goal. That's what Margot is trying to do basically. So he's just trying to, you know, give himself some confidence and boost his ego and everything for the battle to come.
All right. He gets into a fight with Strong Guy, who I haven't seen in
That She-Hulk
such a
and
long
Sugar.
time. She
Yeah,
gets into a fight with Strong Guy. Is this supposed to be a friendly match? Because Strong Guy's power is to be able to absorb anything, and my man's face looks smushed the hell in.
yeah.
Is he all right? Like, is Strong Guy all right after this?
Yeah, that's the best way to like defeat Strong Guy, because he basically absorbs kinetic energy, but um because of the deformity that took place when his mutant ability was, when he got it, he didn't know that he needed to, dissipate it as quickly as possible, which permanently disfigured him. So the best way to defeat Strong Guy is, just keep overloading him before he has the chance to release the kinetic energy. So and that's what She-Hulk basically does, because characters like She-Hulk can keep going all day, as long as they just keep getting angry and just keep going and keep going, keep going. So yeah.
Well, check out these other matchups. You have Abomination versus Juggernaut. Juggernaut wins. I can see that.
Yeah.
You have Big Bertha versus Armor. Big Bertha wins? How does that happen? Explain the physics on how Big Bertha defeats Armor.
Big Bertha is better trained. It's not always about power levels.
That's
Big
a
Bertha
slap
is
in the
better
face of
trained.
your boy Wolverine, because Wolverine trained Armor, and you're saying she's better trained. All right. Then Maggot, well, Omega Maggot versus
That's what
Gentle.
makes the difference.
I had to mention the Omega part because 90s Maggot with the punk ass outfits and stuff, no way he's taking on Gentle.
No.
But Omega Maggot, all right. New age.
I think it's in some narrations, some have even compared Gentle to, level of the Orcs, the Orc family. They can reach the level of the Orc family. So
Right.
yeah, it's pretty powerful.
All right. So back with the feds. She tried to call Jennifer. Jennifer's not answering the phone because she's, MMA. What's the name of this alien agent again? Do we know his name yet? Fabi. So he brings in this fungus truth lie detector thing to ask Storm a bunch of questions. And it was kind of interesting because for the most part she tells the truth to all the questions.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that again, Lucas Wernick at the bottom of this page gives us this image of Storm where she's staring into my soul and judging me.
Yeah. And if you notice, I think the eyes have slightly changed to be more cat-like than before.
Yeah, a lot of people notice that too. Yeah.
This is the old Chris Claremont look for Storm with the cat-like eyes with the lighter blue eyes.
So maybe he watches the show.
What I was about to say? What made Lucas change the style up?
For the eyes, I don't know.
It just makes me.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, it does make her look a lot more striking in its own way. Yeah, almost intimidating.
Yeah.
All I know is as I look into her eyes, I feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah, which one usually does when you look at cats.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And the machine there is a reference to one of our old works that I did with Dotson on Avengers, where it's tied to the Kaiju War. I'm used to, I love telling stories about war, I guess. So there's a planet far away called Abak, and we are going to be dropping little references to that storyline also in Thunder War.
It's funny you should mention your collaborator Doton, because I want to mention something later in this issue which seems to have a direct tie-in to your previous work.
Nice.
All right. So another striking image of Storm, close up. You really get to see, man, Lucas is drawing the best version of Storm ever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone disagree?
No. I think what makes it so great also is because, and I said this earlier, is because I feel like almost, well, for me, for the first time, she actually just looks like a young woman.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't look like, it could be, okay, well, how old is she? Oh, is she the mother? Is she older than everybody else? I could look at this and say, okay, yeah, I see a 30-year-old woman. I see a young adult woman.
So the white hair is not interpreted as gray hair or anything. Right. And then another reason why this book works so well is also the colorist, Alex Guimarães.
Oh, yeah.
He makes everything pop. Look at the lips, look at the eyes, that's, look at the skin. Those are all those things that help also show age, and he's been killing it. Everything just pops.
Absolutely. He's become one of my favorites, if not my favorite.
Yeah,
I noticed
colorist too.
You notice in this picture, at the bottom here, she's got the white eyebrows, and in this one, she's got the dark eyebrows.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas is toying with me.
That's mostly Alex. Sometimes Lucas would ink the brows, and sometimes he would draw the brows. So and Alex, like, when he draws the brows, I'll color it white, and when he inks it, I'll just leave it as black.
And I like it. I like the back and forth, actually.
Shout out to Steve Turner. Thank you for the super chat, sir. So shout out to Alex's coloring too. The monochrome blue gray of the room, her suit made her eyes stand out. He's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're getting more into what the feds are really interested in. They talk about, we're hearing these immense cosmic power readings from the sanctuary, and we can't figure out what it is. And you haven't logged it. You haven't told us what it is.
One might think, is it Eternal Storm? Is it when she transformed to fight Cyclops in the sanctuary then, so you're thinking, okay, what's this, what's that immense energy?
He's pointing out, look, when the government's after Charles Xavier, you help him escape. When this mutant kid blows up and kills 255 people, you hide the kid. When you have this immensely powerful thing in your sanctuary, you don't report it to the government. You don't report it to the Avengers, of which you're a member of the team. You're consistently putting mutant interests above the interests of the United States government. Does she have a response for that?
Not really. Yeah, and I think it's one of the difference between being, let's say, the slight difference between being a police officer and being a superhero. It's those things. It's not really necessarily about the job. It's not necessarily about the authority. It's always about the people. So it's not for the government. You might work with the government, but it's always for the people.
You got to ask yourself, would she be in this situation if she had not joined the Avengers? Because the Avengers is kind of a quasi-governmental entity. They always have governmental ties, but whereas the X-Men is purely more of a private organization.
Yeah. But she won't also have the reach she has without the Avengers. So it's that dynamic. She can do some things more boldly than the X-Men can, because she's with the Avengers now, but also she has to deal with all this bureaucracy that the X-Men don't have to. Rogue doesn't have to give reports, regular reports to the government, and so many other things like that. So yeah, why she has to do all that.
Yeah, the fact that he's saying you need to tell us about what's going on in your own home, you need to write reports to us, that's not something that Rogue would have to do or Wolverine would have to do.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about these other government agents, and we finally find out what they're up to, which is going to Limbo, and they're doing some recruiting.
Yeah. This is going to be expanded on in the Magic solo series that's coming out next week also. So I don't want to spoil that story, but some of the things happening here, we have ramifications there. And side notes, they are not the one tying into us. I was the one that tied into them. I knew I wanted them to go to Limbo to do something. So I asked Ashley Allen, do you have anything coming up in Limbo? And she's like, yes. I just wrote an issue about that's going to take place in Limbo. She finished ours before mine. So I was like, you know what? Can I read yours? So I read it and I was like, okay, cool. Then I found a way to plug in my own story and everything. So just because ours came first, ours was written first.
Just trying to take more of my money, Murewa. Marvel gets enough of my money. You're forcing me to buy some more. All right, so here's the thing. Here's the pitch that they're making to the demons in Limbo. You guys always have rulers that are not around, right?
Yeah.
You have Ilyana Rasputin, who is your queen, your ruler, and she's on Earth. You have Madeline Pryor, who, calls herself the Goblin Queen. And where is she? She's on Earth. Earth must be a pretty cool place.
The United States specifically.
The United States must be a really cool place because your two rulers keep going to the United States. They prefer to be in the United States than they do here. So we are the representatives of the United States, and we're here to offer you the opportunity to be your own rulers. And they're like, well, that makes some kind of sense.
And
what can you tell us about the end game here for this plan with the people, soldiers from
number one, it's inspired from a lot of real life political moves as well, things that a lot of colonial masters do, things that has been said for the US military to also do, and sometimes you hear that, oh, this country is doing so poorly, and you're like, how come they are doing so poorly? And it just feels like they don't know what they are doing, they are so incompetent. But a lot of times it's because a colonial master or some other that has interest in that place has found a way to like sponsor a rebel group that keeps making things extremely difficult. For example, there's a terrorist organization that we've been struggling with in Nigeria for years now, and it's just ridiculous. And it's funny how they started. They was just so small that's like, this shouldn't have cost us anything, And right now, I think they said they can be as armed as ISIS and all the rest, and it's just crazy. And it's like, where are they getting the funding from? Where are they getting the money from? Where are they getting all this equipment from? It's a lot of other organizations that have other interests, in the country, and so you see things like that, and that's what I'm trying to bring here as well. That these people, for sometimes for even petty goals, would go to extreme lengths, and it's also to establish them as Wolverine books have like Department H, X-Men books have ONE, Avengers books have Shield, and if you're going to have Storm, have an ongoing title for a very, very long time, we need to have that. And I wanted the FBI to be that, because in Greg Park's run, she had a run-in with the FBI, and you also know the history of Black Americans in the US. It's always been linked with the FBI in one way or the other, with strategic assassinations, and different things like that. So I'm like, okay, the FBI would be, so the FBI would be a good foil for Storm, and trying to show that it's not just the typical thing of, oh yeah, Department H has a lot of guns, Shield has a lot of guns, FBI has a lot of guns. No, it's the way I'm trying to differentiate the FBI from all these other groups, and it's by the way they operate, so that's what I'm establishing here, so that when we see them do something crazier in future issues, we'll be like, oh my God, these people are crazy. But it won't come as like an ex machina, because it's been previously established the lengths they would go. Just because you want to get someone's house, you basically make a mess of the political structure in limbo just to get into Storm's house. It's crazy stuff.
This dude's so humble. Listen, let me explain to you and translate what Murewa just told you. He said, every one of the superhero books the major superhero books have their foils, their government foils. Shield, the Avengers have Shield, the X-Men had ONE, Wolverine has Department H or Weapon X. Storm needs to have her own government foil. So this is A, world building. And this is B, establishing a rogues gallery for Storm that's unique to herself.
Yeah.
This is what all the big books have. Yeah. And that's the level that Murewa is writing this series as. He's making Storm an A-list character. He's writing her as an A-list character, which it's been a long time coming. So
yeah,
salute to you for that, man. That's dope stuff.
Yeah. So my government foil is the IRS. That's very funny.
It's true, though. It's true.
All right. So they've done all this recruiting on behalf of this Agent Lundquist guy, who kind of reminds me of like a Peter Gyrich type of jerk. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, it took some doing, but now we've got our army, we've got our demon army, and now we're ready to invade the Storm Sanctuary and obtain whatever it is that she has there for the good old US of A. So let's go ahead and take care and invade the storm sanctuary and get that stuff, and we're ready to do it. Oh wait, the demon's already wiped.
And that scene was also to show the disdain that many of these government officials also have for the people they use. Look at immediately she leaves the beach. She's like, effing psychopaths. I hope they all die. She's very okay with all of them dying. People that are supposed to be comrades. But she didn't. They didn't plan that they would die this quickly. So it's very nice.
I just thought it was so funny. They're making all these big plans. They do all this build up about we're building our
I've been alive for 10,000 years. I've been alive for 10,000 years. Like, boop, gone. And it's also to make fun of all the things that the mutants always do in the Marvel universe. They always take some of the biggest, baddest guys, and it's like, pew, you're gone. Do you know how many crazy tyrants that Magneto has just killed immediately? Like, you're gone. So it's having fun with that. Yeah, it's now, very nice.
I see Gateway there in the background. Who is that floating next to him? Is that Cloak? Who is that?
No, Lactuca.
Lactuca. Okay.
Red.
Yeah.
So I just decided to put a little bit of cameos. Juggernaut is still there from the fight, and She-Hulk, Callisto, and Iska the Unbeaten.
Iska the Unbeaten. I haven't seen her in a minute. Great run in the X-Men Red series.
Iska the Unbeaten is also there for people that have been following X-Men recently for added context. If you're like, how are they beaten so quickly and so easily? Besides the mutants being extremely powerful and everything, it's like, Iska the Unbeaten was on their team.
Yeah, she's on their team. And she can't lose.
Yeah.
Even brought back John Iron. What's his name? Iron Fire.
Yeah. One of the Storm's disciples.
Yeah. So I mean, and then it's cool to see Iska Unbeaten. She's got a demon's head tore the head off. You got Maggot literally eating demon, and he is swole proportions.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That I hope people notice that in this shot,
how much bigger
Maggot is bigger than Juggernaut.
Yeah.
So you can see some of the difference in power sets now. He can grow bigger.
He can eat anything, and he chooses to eat demon. I love this shot.
And I don't even think he can digest through his mouth if he hits with his mouth. He's just doing it for the fun of it.
Right. So that's what I was going to say. Can he even digest that?
Wow. All right. So back on, now that they've cleared out the government workers and stopped the invasion of Storm Sanctuary, she goes back in. She's having a heart-to-heart with Eden. And she talks about, this is a pretty poignant moment. This is where we get into the psychology of Storm, which I thought was cool. And you did it all in one page, which is also cool. And the concept of her being manipulated, being a puppet, being used, has deeper ramifications for her. Can you talk about this page and the flashback here?
It's one of the things that when people say they've not seen Storm's reaction to it, why is she crying and so many things, and like I'm going to get to it, but I want to get to it at the right time and to be able to treat it with see why she's not willingly sharing that information to just anybody, why she's not openly expressing it, because it reminds her of a lot of trauma that's been there. We all know Storm doesn't like to kill, but we know she killed someone when she was very, very young, and it was when she left Egypt to look for a better life and trying to go back to her motherland in Kenya. It was on that trip someone offered her a ride, and try to take advantage of her, and it's one of the reasons why she cherishes freedom. She cherishes not being caged, and it's something that has defined how she sees herself, how she behaves, how she expresses herself all through her life. And eternity is bringing her low into that situation every time it possesses her. And it's something that's it's very severe, it's very serious. It's not something that she would just talk about, and you see it in minor expressions, like the way she's already unraveling in issue 7 when she was chasing the snake, and so many things like that, and she's trying to put on a good face and everything. I wanted her to have someone to say this with, and yeah, I'm happy people connected with it.
Yeah, this you the fact that you're able to all do it on one page too is what's amazing. Between you and Lucas's artwork, able to convey all of that, and the colors,
turning that
the
place
emotion
red makes a lot of sense.
Right, absolutely. The tear coming out of her eye at the end. This is a pretty powerful page. But she at this point she still doesn't know. Does she know yet that it's
she doesn't
eternity?
know it's eternity.
She
She
doesn't
just
know
knows it's because she's had experience with Jean Grey. She knows it's a cosmic entity. It's an entity, but what sort of entity it is, she doesn't know.
Doesn't know yet. Okay. But she does know that she has these periods of time when her body is taken over, that she has blackouts, and all of a sudden she's in different places, different things have happened, and one of the things
back home another day.
Yeah. So one of the things she notices that back at Storm Sanctuary, she's got a guest now. Who is this?
Yeah. So since Storm is an energy manipulator, she could feel the reading. Just the way the FBI that have been stalking her could feel the reading. So and then she sees that eternity has hidden a cosmic entity here, and it's Abraxas, and Abraxas is eternity's son, and is the physical embodiment of destruction, which to make sound cool, inspired by Jason Aaron's God the God Butcher, where there's a God bomb, like but in this story it's not a God bomb, it's a bomb entity. So and I was like, we're going to give this entity the God's treatment, from Jonathan Hickman. I want him to have this very cool design. I wanted the multiple arms, and the hands always been in this gesture of prayer. I wanted it to have a mix of African aesthetics like infinity and eternity now, and also still have this Greek aesthetics as well, because Abraxas is a Greek name. So all that's coming into play. So, and I was also inspired by the lion turtle from Avatar: The Last Airbender, where anytime it shows up, there's always this chant going on in the background, and you find out that it has its own meaning, that's about, I think submitting to the light or something like that. So here I'm like, I want that for Abraxas. Like anytime it shows up, there's always a chant, and the chant is, in Swahili, constantly saying, "I surrender to the eternal one." So it's a fun entity that I've always wanted to introduce, like even before issue 1. I think before issue 1 came, when I was talking about the Storm Sanctuary online, I was saying that there's this big secret in the Storm Sanctuary that's bigger than anything you've ever seen in any nation of the world. And I think some Wakanda fans took that personal, like, what do you mean? Wakanda has so many secrets and stuff like that, but it's not necessarily about the quantity of it. It's just like that they didn't know that I was talking about something and I couldn't give it away, that it's this massive thing that that is under everything. And I also wanted a little, like a plot twist. Like some people might, if it wasn't revealed in the solicitation, some people might think, oh, maybe we're talking about the Storm engine that was revealed in issue 6, and it's like, no, it's this. I'm having fun with the old Storm Sanctuary and some of the, crazy things that Eternity has probably hidden there and is doing there.
And the Storm Sanctuary seems to get bigger in every issue.
Yeah, that's the feeling I want people to. That's the feeling I want people to have. Like it should feel like a mystery that every time a story is set there, it feels interesting too. I understand, the mansion feeling like home, like, oh, anytime we've gone and we come back home and we relax. I want us to have that feeling in the sanctuary too, but also have that feeling of, what's new to also discover about this place.
It reminds me of the old X Factor run, the original Volume 1 X Factor run, where X Factor took up residence in Apocalypse's ship. And that ship was immensely huge. And every issue, they'd find some new part of the ship they hadn't seen before and discover some new, realm within the ship. That's what Storm Sanctuary reminds me of. It was kind of cool. I see here that he is both bound, like he's being held captive, but he's also has all these lines that seem to be either feeding him or sustaining him. So is this more of is it a stasis chamber, a prison, or a little bit of both?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay. All right. When will we see, what issue will we see Abraxas unleashed? Because he's the bomb entity.
Okay. Do I want to give it? Let's say.
You don't have to tell me the details. I just want to know what issue will we see him.
I'm trying to decide to reveal that. Okay, I'll reveal it. Thunder War finale, Storm 12.
Okay. So now we know that Thunder War will last through issues 10 through 12.
Yeah.
Cool. This is officially the prelude for this Thunder War. I find this fascinating because
stunning.
Wow. So this part takes place in what's described as the near future. What is this language that both Eternal Storm and Abraxas are speaking?
It's only Abraxas that has its own lettering style. Every entity has their own lettering style. So that's Swahili saying, I surrender to the Eternal One. So that's a constant chant he does. The Eternal One basically being eternity. So he only serves eternity. If anyone knows Abraxas, he's not a particularly a good guy per se, So, but when it comes to eternity, he submits. Yeah. So I surrender to the Eternal One.
So, eternity speaking through Storm, saying, for the first time in billions of years that I've existed, my brother Oblivion will finally know the true meaning of fear. He and Hadad will know defeat by my hands. And then you've got this letterbox saying, eternity has never been more wrong. No matter how great the power he amasses, Oblivion will not know defeat by his hands. Who's speaking? Whose voice is this?
I think a lot of people are noticing a lot of little things as well. If Hadad and Oblivion are not linked in one way or the other for one reason or the other, why would eternity say he and Hadad? Why is Hadad being brought up here? And the narrator, I'm not revealing the narrator. Is let's just say narrator is me. I'm the narrator. So
so you're saying
yeah.
you're the one above all.
Yeah.
Of the storm.
All right. You don't have to reveal that. I just thought it was interesting. And then we have the big reveal.
Yeah.
Hadad.
And, I'm so happy Comics explained, like, pulled up the video in less than 24 hours. Like, yeah, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I was so happy.
This is what I was talking about when I said you brought up the tone, your collaborator, your partner on Akugan, Brutalizer of Gods, because as I turned the page and I saw this page, I was like, is this Akugan, Brutalizer of Gods? Like, what is this one of the characters? Talk about this. Talk about how you came to this look, because this look right out of that series.
It's mostly the godly feel. Especially as we're moving into Thunder War, when you start seeing more of the gods, it's going to start feeling more and more like Akugun Brutalizer of Gods. It's going to start feeling more and more like that. But
and if any of you don't know what Akugan Brutalizer of the Gods are, first of all, shame on you. Second of all, if you're liking Murewa's work on this, please do yourself a favor. Go to your local comic shop and pick up his Akugan Brutalizer of the Gods series or trade paperback. It's excellent. Trust me.
Extremely.
All right.
So basically, Lucas and I basically I sent a lot of images of Mesopotamian garments and how they dressed those days, how they kept their beards, how they kept their hair, and things like that are kind of inspired that this how I want the gods to look. And Lucas took some of it and took some part from his own and then designed this look that feels of that culture and yet feels very modern and yet feels very intimidating and sexy at the same time. For example, we don't lose the bull horns that Baal Adad is known for. So he has that, he has this flowy, he doesn't have a cape, but he has this flowy garment that flows around him. It's pretty cool. Cool tattoos, that light up when he uses his powers. It's extremely cool. So
barefoot, and on top of, what is that he's on top of? Is it the head of something?
Oblivion's body.
It's Oblivion's body.
Yeah.
Wow. So it should be a serpent.
Yeah, so that's the skull of a serpent.
Huh. So will we finally? Will Hadad have a big role in the next issue?
11 and 12.
11 and 12. Okay. All right. Well, this is a cool design and intrigues the reader to see more. A lot of build-up, man. A lot of build-up. This Thunder War.
Yeah. Everything is linked. I think some people are saying, if Oblivion is going to die, why did we spend so much time, building him up? And it's okay. I'll review a little bit of stuff so people can understand that, the structure of a saga is very different from, if you're doing something maybe episodic or something like that. Is, for example, Hadad is a former host of Eternity in a long line of other hosts. There was Eternal Madness, the Insane, and after that you have Eternal Hadad, and then you have Eternal Storm, separated by probably like 1 billion years each. And it's like, so you have all that. If I just introduce to you like, oh, Eternity has hosts, why does he have hosts? The Phoenix has a new host every 2 years, every 5 years in real life continuity, maybe in their own continuities, like every 6 months. Echo was like the phoenix in like the last era. Quentin Quire has been the phoenix. In publication history, eternity has not had a host. So how do you start introducing all those new concepts of why you've not seen eternity's hosts? Because the gap between them is so long. How do you introduce them? Why does it have a host? It doesn't just have a host like the other entities, because some other entities can almost not survive without a host. For him, he has his own consciousness. He can talk, he can negotiate, he can do so many things. He will talk to Dr. Strange and send him on errands and do different things. So why does he need a host? You have to build up why he needs hosts before you tell the story of his hosts, and all those things. And there are some characters that were name dropped in issue 5, and the relationship that he has with him, that will play bigger roles. For example, too, we've not seen or heard about death. Issue 5 was not just building up Oblivion, it was also building up death, even though we've not seen death. So there are so many things at play here that you just have to see as it unfolds. Why did Haddad kill Oblivion? Is the death permanent? Is it not permanent? Where has Haddad been all along? Why is he just showing up now? Is it the only host that can show up? Is Eternal Madness or one other previous host still alive somewhere? Different things like that. There are so many of this lore that we have to gradually build. So it's not everything we do is not just for shock value. We are building up this tapestry of information and story, so that it's when you start going back to your books and everything starts connecting, and start seeing all the time stamps. For example, you saw that the last time they fought was 3 billion years ago, but the last time we saw Haddad was 1 billion years ago. That's why we know that Eternal Madness is older than Haddad, even though we see Haddad being called the Frost Storm God. So that also means that, for example, the Gardeners, which that's the race Eternal Madness belongs to, are older than gods. And if you trace it back in Marvel continuity, Gaia, the mother of most of the gods, came forth 3 billion years ago. So that means Gaia was probably created or born or sprouted from the earth when Eternal Madness died. So did eternity create the Gaia, knowing that I need a new race of people that will be able to be better hosts for me? And Gaia, and that's why Gaia is always trying to give birth to more and more children that will become gods. And then when you start analyzing it even further, you realize that if you go into Marvel history, all the gods that we know are children of Gaia. It's the Greek pantheons, children of Gaia or descendants of Gaia. The Japanese one, Gaia changed herself to be Tsunami and married Izunagi and all those stuff. I'm probably pronouncing all that wrong. I've forgotten the spellings. And they gave birth to the Japanese pantheon. She changed again and married Uko to give birth to the Finnish pantheon. She merged with Buluko to create the African pantheons, and so on and so forth. So something about the gods in the Marvel universe is, it's not just that they are powerful or anything, is that they are usually children or descendants of Gaia, except one of them, Storm. Storm is not a child or a descendant of Gaia. She's of Oshtor. That might be one of the reasons why the thunder gods are not naturally being receptive of her, because all the thunder gods are basically siblings, but Storm is a cousin. So it's also why our physiology is different. A demigod or a god, they have this durability, they have all these physical attributes that Storm doesn't have. And we are calling her a goddess, and that's because she's not from Gaia's line like the others. She's from Oshtor's line. So what are those differences? Those are the kind of mythologies and laws and stories that we hope to be able to like create and have discussions on as the story progresses. So it's very fun stuff we have planned.
I brought up this letters page at the end of this issue because in this very first column, you break down some of the history of the gods that you've used and analyzed and looked at to reach the story. And it's really interconnected with a lot of Marvel mythology and lore. I mean, you've done your research. I would encourage anyone who gets the issue to make sure you read this page. Murewa is just he definitely flips through the crates. He definitely goes in the long boxes, and everything in this book has a purpose. There's nothing random in what he does. So I appreciate that.
Even though people swear it is.
It's not.
Yeah.
Swear it's so random.
It's all power scaling, man.
And so much of it is he's not inventing new stuff. No. He's actually taking stuff that's already existed in Marvel history and expanding upon it. And that's what's called good writing.
Yeah. For example, when someone went to League of Comic Geeks to give us a half star, it's the star, he's a fan of the other fandom, and said basically only talked about the last 3 pages and said Storm can't defeat the Black Winter or something like that. And it's like so let's analyze it a little bit. Since the Black Winter consumes universes, according to Donny Cates, we can say naturally a Black Winter is has the power to defeat eternity if you can consume a universe. So let's say that. And the Black Winter is what Galactus is to Silver Surfer, is what the Black Winter is to Galactus. But it's also kind of similar to Abraxas, because in Abraxas' debut, dude slaughters a lot of Galactus. You see like a pile of dead Galactus that he killed. So that's his power level too. So when Eternity and Abraxas are now being merged, the power level far exceeds that of the Black Winter. So this is not just inconsistency or not you respecting what other creators have done, So it's things like that. It's actually considering everything, weighing everything. I didn't just make Eternity, beats the Black Winter. It has to be with, Abraxas there. It's that fusion that creates something special.
Right.
So so it's that. So it's just fun and it's good. People say it's just endless fan service because why are all these entities showing up here? And I think anytime people say these things, just ask them this, where was the outrage when the one above all showed up to console Peter and help him in his day-to-day life on how to behave better and stuff like that? Where was the outrage when the one above all showed up in Immortal Hulk? And that's Hulk. Hulk is not even necessarily a cosmic being. When the one above all showed up in Hulk, and the one below all is basically the one above all hulking out. Where was the outrage when the one above all was dancing in the Phoenix book, you know, all of a sudden one above all shows up in Storm is like power scaling, you know. So yeah, so it's those things, you know. Just enjoy the book, trust the process, you know.
Enjoy the book and trust the process. So let's talk about what's going to happen in the next book. What can fans expect in issue number 10? I think we've got a slight spoiler in the fact that on the cover she's sitting here flying on a Silver Surfer's surfboard.
Yeah. Yes, issue 10 is when I think Galactus and Silver Surfer shows back up. The feds also show back up to do something very terrible and heartbreaking. The first battle of the Thunder War starts, and I think since we have it in the previews, I can say it. The first battle, you know, the Thunder Gods basically ganged up on Storm, you know, taking her as a tag team. You know, the children of Gaia against the child of Oshtor. Well, now the child of Oshtor is going against them, and she's going to pick them one after the other. And the first god she's going after is Shango. So she's going to be visiting Orun. It's going to be an assault on Orun. So that's the first part of Thunder War.
So you're saying the first part? Well, the first part is the one issue I've been telling you I've been waiting for the entire run. This is my issue.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
There better be a dedicated to Paul in the back.
So
of this.
Please let's tell everyone, if people have not been reading this stuff, you know, pick up this. You can start here. This is like the first issue of an event, you know. Like the first issue of an event, pick it up, you would understand everything moving forward.
So
like
does
Secret Wars 1.
Does Marvel have any other press releases or anything planned that you know of to promote the event?
Yes, they are working on some press releases for this.
Okay.
Because Antoine's like, if they don't, I got you. I've seen some of those videos you've done, Antoine. You're very talented, man.
Yeah,
thank you.
I think we should have a logo too that'll probably be on the banner of the book, and you know.
Oh yeah. Oh things. Great. That would be great.
There you go. Let's get some merch. Let's get some merch going too.
I haven't seen it yet, but you know.
Hey, before we proceed, I need everyone to hit the like button. Only have like 41 likes. That's crazy. I want everyone to take a moment, hit the like button. It costs you nothing. Just take your finger, hit the little button right there, hit the like button. Share the video. If you're watching this on a social media platform, share the video. I don't care which platform, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, wherever. Go ahead and share the video if you would. We're trying to grow the channel, trying to get this more people to show this book some love and get more eyes on it and get our pre-orders in. So, all right. Now, you know we had to talk about this.
Oh, Lord.
So a book came out same day, yesterday, as Storm number 9, called The World to Come, written by the great Christopher Priest, the man who redefined the character of Black Panther for the modern era, the guy whose first issue of Black Panther number 1, volume 3 in 1998, made Black Panther my favorite superhero for all time.
Nice.
I love the Christopher Priest run. It's one of the most important parts of my comic book collection, in my opinion. So I have a lot of love and respect for that run and that writer. So he writes this storyline which jumps through time. And one of the things that's established, now one of the questions that's raised in this run, it's a Marvel Knights book, which was what the original Black Panther run was. It was a Marvel Knights book as well that did so well that they eventually made it an ongoing series. So much so that the series ran for 62 issues or so, which is the longest Black Panther series of all time. But more importantly, it was canon. It was made canon.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, is this newest Marvel Knights run canon? Why is that a big question? Because of all the things he established in the first issue. The big one everyone's talking about is not relevant for the show, which is T'Challa has a white son who becomes Black Panther. Spoiler alert! If you want further discussion about that, watch our Wednesday wrap-up from last night. But what has not been talked about on the internets, because so many people are focused on the white Wakandan Black Panther, is the fact that Christopher Priest says that Storm is killed in the near future. He says she dies during a race war. T'Challa builds a shrine to her in Wakanda, and he eventually marries Monica Lynn, his longtime girl, who I thought was dead, but apparently she's not. And they have a child, as you see in this panel. And she's forced to watch this shrine her husband has erected for his ex-wife, and she feels some kind of way about that. So, first of all, did you read this book yet? Have you read this book yet?
Unfortunately, I've not read it yet, but hopefully, I'll try to catch up on it soon.
Did anyone at Marvel, Christopher Priest, anyone reach out to you to talk about what they were going to do with Storm in this book? Because you are the writer of the ongoing Storm series. So I was curious as to anyone said, hey, heads up, we're killing Storm.
For future stories, not really. Even for current stories, except you are changing like a big status quo thing. Yeah, but not really. And it's usually go through the editor. So I think it's not at all. But yeah, it's a future story, I think. And that's always the place to like, those are the books to take big swings and everything. So for now, as a fellow creator, I would always say, let him cook. Let's see where this is going. Yeah, that's it. I would give the same grace I always demand. Trust.
Monica girl, you was second choice. Butterfly. You're not wrong. All right. I was just curious as if they had ever talked to you about it. But we'll see. I agree with you. There's been a lot of people up in arms about the issue, and you got to let the man cook. And Priest we trust. It's funny, the ironic thing, people are saying, well, I hate this because X, Y, and Z, this is not what the Black Panther is all about. And like, what are all, and you're like thinking to myself, what are all the things you love about the character? Go through the list. You realize Priest is the one who created all those things you love.
Yeah.
You got to trust the guy who created all those things that you love. Anyway, moving on. Another book that's upcoming. Your name.
Oh, yeah.
Hellfire Vigil. What can you tell us
about? The
Storm
story here and the art here is sick. You're going to love it. So this is going to come out before Thunder War. Eternity is going to make an appearance, not as Eternal Storm, but Eternity. Eternity is going to be here. Storm is going to be here. We're going to have a couple of panels of Storm's mother. And
really?
Yeah, and we're going to see a little vision into the future and see what that future means.
Okay.
And so go ahead.
it will be more relevant towards like Storm's personal family story and not particularly Thunder War. So people that have been like, I want to know more about Storm's family, you would get to know that in this story.
All right.
Now the vigil's taking place at the Storm Sanctuary. Yeah.
It's taking place in multiple locations.
Okay.
Because in this era of X-Men, everyone is scattered to the winds. So some of it is going to be taking place in Chicago. Some of it will be taking place in Atlanta. That's in Storm Sanctuary.
Okay.
And yeah.
Gotcha.
I am looking at the likes and not a single person's giving me an additional like. Come on, guys. Hit the like button. Seriously. Hit the like button. Trying to let this video grow and share and let it ride the algorithm on YouTube. All right. What else we got? Previews. Also upcoming, previews of issue 10. My boy, Bishop.
This is not him in his costume yet. This is him in casuals. So you're going to find out what happened to him here. Yeah. So these are some of the first scenes in Thunder War. So Thunder War is real epic. And as you can see by the inks, Lucas is like, hold my beer. Like, he's going all out. There's a reason why we have like this long gap between issue 9 and 10. Is because we want to cook. We want to cook. And when all is said and done, we're going to give it to people back to back. Because when issue 10 finally comes out, it's only going to be a 2-week wait to issue 11. So 10 and 11 is pam. It's going to be crazy good. So yeah, people should brace themselves.
Shout out to Steven Turner. Thank you for the super chat, sir. Will Storm sing Rhythm Nation at the Vigil?
No, but she will make a reference. But she will make a Full Metal Alchemist reference.
Rhythm Nation. All right. One thing about the Bishop thing, though, energy manipulator. I mean, he's a redirector, right? He absorbs and redirects energy.
Yeah.
And Storm's an energy manipulator. I'm trying to think of an issue.
Wait.
Yeah. Right? You completely destroyed my train of thought. I was going to say, that's actually kind of the same question. I was going to say, has there ever been an issue where I've seen Storm direct energy towards Monica Rambeau and have Monica Rambeau redirect that energy? I was curious if we ever seen they form these mutant circuits, right? Has Storm ever done a mutant circuit with Bishop where she has,
mm-hmm.
Right? Okay.
The immediate one that comes to mind is Extreme X-Men.
Right.
Claremont's initial Extreme X-Men, where they were fighting Elias Bogan in the Danger Room.
Okay.
And she actually is the one that frees them, because him and Sage are they're trapped in this simulation in the Danger Room, and she frees them, and they're all fighting, and then she supercharges him with lightning and tells him to make good use of the energy while he's fighting the other simulacrums or whatever they are.
So the question becomes, can Eternal Storm do that with Bishop, or is he going to get over burnt out? Can he handle that type of heat?
Bishop is not Omega level, so he doesn't have unlimited capacity to store the energy.
So he would blow up.
Yeah.
Murewa, if you kill Bishop, you and I are going to have problems. I'm just telling you from now. That's my dude. Die. Don't kill Bishop. Do not kill Bishop. This image is just making me a little nervous. That's all I'm saying.
So wait, you think okay, I'm not even going to give any like spoilers or anything. But yes, be very nervous, man. Read the book.
Don't get attached to anybody.
Maria's trolling me at this point. Shout out to Lucas Wernick doing a reverse Kirby Crackle. Instead of the black dots, he's doing white dots. He's doing a straight up reverse Kirby Crackle. That's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. All right. So you said round 1 of the Thunder War was Storm versus Shango. Why is my boy naked?
Because it's sexy.
she caught him in the bathtub.
Is he trying to distract her in the battle? I don't even want to know. I can't even go there.
I don't want to give too much spoilers, but basically it's how they jumped her. She wasn't expecting it. Yeah. So she's going to return that energy too.
Okay, so he's out doing his storm god shower up in the sky, and she's like, "Surprise,
motherfucker!"
And I love how the braids look here. How you see the black towards the end.
You see what I told you now? Yeah, the braids keep getting better. So by Thunder War, the braids are like,
yeah.
I think some people it's still
and the braids look perfect with the Wakandan armor. It's like it was made for the armor, even though it was made separately. It's so cool. I didn't know they would work together so much.
They do. I agree. Definitely, it looks so cool.
I want to see her channel her energy through that spear. I'm curious. Are we going to see that at some point during Thunder War? Okay.
This very issue.
This very issue.
Good.
Cool. I also am curious to see her use the vibranium in that suit of hers to also sort of, absorb and redirect and focus her energies. I thought that would be a cool thing to see.
We've kind of seen it absorb, I think, in number 6, where she was taking the brunt of Cyclops' optic blast before Eternity took over, right?
Yeah. But no spoilers. So
Maxine Shaw asked a good question. Does the spear have a name?
I gave it a name, but it's like we discussed, it wasn't fair to the character that already had that name. So far,
that's right. You did talk about that, and I said don't use that name. It's already used. All right. So let's go into the fan art. This is brilliant. Look at the hair. Yeah, the hair's all energy.
It's lovely, stunning work.
This is a brilliant version of an Eternal Storm. I love the space effect, the star effect in her clothing.
And everyone has been like cloudy. Yeah, it's like lightning hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is dope. Well, who's the artist on this?
No, I actually was talking to him a little bit earlier. I don't know if they're watching tonight, but if not, we'll definitely make sure they know that their stuff was put up here. They get a kick out of that.
Yeah. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Anid Balam.
Yeah. He did some issues for Uncanny X-Men, and I think he also drew some pages in.
He is here.
Yeah, he's here.
X-Man.
Hey man, your art here is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, you said this artist did some work for Marvel in the past?
Yeah, no, in X-Man and some Uncanny X-Men issues with Gil Simon.
Okay. Wow.
I don't know if I saw. Did I see this one? This is nice.
It's like kind of a mixed medium.
Yeah.
Yeah, still. Oh, wow.
Storm.
Love that outfit.
I love how iconic the Eternal Storm costume has become.
Right. I know it.
Yeah. At some point.
Means you're successful.
and it's funny because it's like, let's think about it. How many issues has Eternal Storm showed up in?
3, right? 1. Well,
yeah.
I guess technically 1, which is anything 3.
It's 2, and then but this last issue she shows up for like 2 pages.
Yeah. 2 panels. Yeah. I need Marvel Legends to release an action figure of Eternal Storm.
We need a whole Storm series line. We need Brutal Storm, the white one. We need Eternal Storm.
Yes.
We need the vibrant. We need the.
I need the vibranium armor.
And
I need the armor.
The main costume. So that's 4 figures right there. She just needs a whole line.
Yeah, she needs a whole line.
Isha, Woman Without Fear.
It. Yeah, like this one.
Yeah. Wow, look at the eyes.
And this is just WIP. God knows when it's going to be done.
It's not even done yet.
Great.
Right.
and it's already great.
It looks like it's Eternal Storm though, based on the neck.
Neck and the tiara. Yeah, it's Eternal Storm.
That is beautiful.
I love the redesign.
So this is kind of a mix.
But you know what's funny? There was just a reveal. There's a new Marvel game coming out.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it, doesn't it?
It looks a lot like it.
And this came out before that.
This came out before. Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're already like vibranium armor cosplays.
Oh really?
I've been tagged.
We should have included some of those next time. I'll get some of those for next time.
There we go.
Yeah.
This has got some Peach Momoko vibes to it. Danny Koo.
That's one of the main guys from Marvel Rivals that works on Marvel Rivals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
This one too. This is really good.
The meat transformation.
For our manga fans out there.
Yeah, between like the Avenger Storm and Eternal Storm.
Yeah.
Works.
This is like her, this actually kind of works as your storyline. It's almost like this is her transforming from Storm to Eternal Storm. So when Eternity takes over her body, this is the physical transformation.
And I think it's funny, he always ignores her braids when he transforms. Well, he's been ignoring her braids when he transforms into Eternal Storm now. Her hair just goes back to like the textured cloud like.
The cloud, yeah.
He's like, take these out.
Eternity is like, I'm not wearing no hair extensions.
I'm not wearing those. Take them out.
Actually, that reminds me of something. So go back here. Here. Damn it.
It's also interesting. Full length again. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
That's what I was about to point out, but I can't get this thing to click backwards. And here.
Yeah, there it is.
So this is the near future, and her hair is fully there.
Yeah, this is Eternal Storm's hair. That's not her hair.
Right.
Well, that was my question. So when she becomes Eternal Storm, her hair just poof.
Yeah, into the optimal position, the optimal length.
All right.
It's the way she has a ruby too, even though there's no ruby in real life.
Right, which I guess is the Steven's question. Will we get a follow-up about Storm's ruby?
We'll get a follow-up of Night and Day Hospital, not the ruby yet.
I told you what I want to happen for the ruby, but that's just my personal bias.
Oh, everybody, you don't have to say it. That's everybody's theory. You're not just the only one. It's everybody's theory. Everybody has that same theory.
All right, let's go back. Here we go.
That's
AJ Raven. Inspired by the Scarlet Witch and Jean Grey bird cover arts. Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting to me. It could be a really simple fix for them to add the tiara to the black and gold costume, because it does work. I mean, it's very
absolutely.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it does work. And I love how Luciano has been putting that crown everywhere.
Yes.
Like on the sword staff, and if you see the preview pages for Vigil when she's giving the speech,
Oh yes.
I didn't put that. I didn't put that in the script. That was, it puts the old big crown thing there, and I'm like, yes,
with the
it's
X,
just,
yeah.
It's also interesting is some of the
Oh,
influence on some of the
thing-
eternity designs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
You're
point.
saying?
I said the crown also looks to be somewhat representative in some of the eternity designs he did as well.
Yes. It looks like Eternity's whole thing too. Yeah. Individual, most of the time when you see Stormwatch earrings, is usually like lightning bolt shaped. In individual, Luciano does earrings for her, and instead of the earrings being lightning shaped, the earrings are the shape of her crown. It's so cool.
That is interesting.
Okay.
That's a different take.
I'm so happy I'm finally liking my
That's
art
cute.
style.
I like that.
We have professional artists and budding artists on this.
Yeah.
I say art hobbyists.
I love that. Oh, look at that.
This is great. Great use.
This feels like something you can put, in glass on your wall or something.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And a glow in the dark. Yeah.
Little Rembrandt style use of light and dark. Appreciate that. Oh, snap.
Nice.
The hair.
The Marvel
The
rifle.
hair.
Yeah. It's so funny how Storm has literally been on announcement and 3 different games.
Yeah, it's just
in the last
so cool.
couple of months. Yeah. There's been Marvel Rivals, Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which is coming out at the end of this year, and then the new in Marvel Fighting Souls, Tokun Fighting Souls.
And I'm so happy that majority of Storm fans are appreciative of that, because what I would hate is for Storm fans to be like some other fandoms that complain about every single good announcement that happens in their
shout out to Kanan White. He says he needs to do a fan art for Storm.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
Here's what I want you to do, Kanan. I do want you to do one. Email it to us at blackcomiclords@gmail.com so that we can surprise everybody and premiere it on our next show next month. So give you 30 days. You have 30 days. Email us some art and we'll premiere it on the show.
Even more, actually. You got more than 30 days, so you don't have an excuse, because the
doesn't
come out to the 23rd.
That takes a while.
So
that takes a while.
Like 45 days.
All right.
I think it's 50 days. It's like 50 days. It's ridiculous.
It's right on. All right. Sorry. So we're gonna premiere some original Kanan White art on the show.
Nice.
Oh, that's me.
That's Antoine Dotson. What is this?
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Talk to us, Antoine. What is this all about?
Oh, same thing I always do. I just periodically just check in with some of the larger shops and some of the smaller ones too, just because I can't help it. I want to see how the book is doing. And, the responses that I've been getting are the same that we've been getting all along, is that the support is still there, the readership is still there, and the subscribers are still solid. There's actually next week, Tuesday, on June 10th, Murewa was going to be doing a book club with virtual book club with Phantom Comics for the release of the Storm Volume 1 trade, which is collected issues number 1 through 5. I'll be posting about that soon with the link for people who want to join. They are giving away a couple free copies of the trade also, as kind of like an incentive for people to join in. So somebody might be able to win that. And they said the same thing. They're a smaller store, but they have a really solid subscriber list with Storm, and then they also stock it pretty heavily for their shelves. So
shout out to Impulse Creations. That was actually my LCS for about 15 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. No, they're good. They're great. I ordered from them too.
I think someone also sent me a DM that they went to the biggest shop in Florida when they went on vacation or something, and they wanted to see if they could get some back issues of variants or stuff of Storm, and they're like, sorry, no back issues of Storm. It's sold out.
Yeah.
Sold out.
Storm always sells out.
We like to hear that. Now, what's this? Third Eye Comics. You ready to start the third time?
Yeah, shout out to Third Eye Comics, our guys over there, guys and girls, and all people. So yeah, same thing. I communicate with them regularly on, because at one point it's kind of funny. I actually, when all of the stores were selling out of like 2, 3, and 4, since I kind of had a surplus, I was sending them copies of the book so that they could restock it. So that's kind of how we just started this little correspondence. And I was just kind of asking, based on their opinion, how they thought the series, what's our chances of reaching the intended 30 issue run, which actually I have a question about that, but this is what you're seeing right now. And they think we have a chance, a very strong chance. So
very strong chance of reading 30 issues. That's huge.
Now, is 30 issues still the intended run, Murewa? Because in the letters page, you said you wanted to do 100 now. So has it shifted for you?
No, I said the desire to do it is there.
How much story do you have in your head?
The story is still 30 issues, but that's just one arc. The entire Storm story is just one massive arc. So we're just saying, Act 1, Act 2, just for volume, the trade paperbacks. It's been one arc. There's, like, if you see, like, from issue 1, if you just binge everything, that's why I wasn't completely. I wished issue 6 was in the trade, but it's in the X-Manon's trade.
I knew
so, like, because maybe for some other books, all those event tie-ins, you can cut it out and the story will still work. But for the Storm series, every issue counts. Like, everything counts.
Yeah.
So, and that's how we've been building it. There's no stop and start again. It's just moving. It's just moving. So that everything is connected. Things that happened in issue 9, you already seen things that happened in issue 1 start to come up. Like the kid at the power plants. You see it's coming up. Storm visiting Haiti. They're starting to say that maybe Storm did more than one thing in Haiti. It wasn't just did she do some spells? Did she learn some things? There are things that are happening in issue 1, 2. We're saying we're going to go back to the hospital in Thunder War. So many things that are happening. You start seeing the ramifications and how everything connects. So it's that kind of series where you have to read every issue. It's not a story arc thing. There's no start and stop.
Yeah.
So maybe after like the 30 issues, maybe I'll now have another story arc in me. Who knows?
Now, have we heard
massive story arc?
Last question from me. Have we heard anything else about After 15 yet?
Yes. So I have the story for the events, the story that happened in the events, the 3-issue events. So I have the story for that and the artist that will be on it. So I also know that after 15, I would be coming back to do the story there. But I don't know the team that will be on it yet. So we're still seeing what's up. Okay. I've not got so much information. So and Thunder War is so hard to write. It was so hard to write. So I'm like jumping across and stuff like that.
Kevin Pitts just made a comment about an omnibus.
Yes.
No, that's the goal. That's the goal I have to and hope for. Yes. So that issue 6 that was removed, that was in another trade, everything should be there. Because I think this thing is going to be like all those like Invincible Omnibus or Saga Omnibus. That it just reads, it will just flow into each other because it's one story.
Absolutely, because
she has enough volumes at this point where she can build an omnibus with your run.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If she gets to 30, even if she gets to 25, but if she gets to 30,
if it gets to 30, it will make sense. If it gets to 30, it will make sense for an omnibus. Yeah.
And it would just be the Murewa Ayodele run, part 1 or finale.
It would technically, hopefully, be part 2.
It can just be or Eternal Storm Saga.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because she has prior volumes that can all be collected into its own omnibus, and then Morea's one would be Volume 2 Omnibus, which would be the entire run. That's kind of the goal.
Yeah.
Okay. But we are coming back for 16 and on, so that's good. We can celebrate this.
All right, so we're about to get to, I think, all of our questions, right? Live chat.
Yes.
We have a bunch of questions.
My favorite part of the is getting to it. Woo!
All right. How do we go to where's my producer guy?
I think I'm gonna take a shot to celebrate.
All right, he's doing his thing. All right, so here's the first question. Mr. Ayodele, will there be an omnibus for Storm in the future? If there is one, is there any way you could add all the info from BCL YouTube show to the omnibus?
That's ambitious.
That would be nice.
That's a lot of material.
Yeah. I'm hoping for an omnibus. It's a dream and a goal of mine to be able to have enough material to come together to be an omnibus. So that would be good. So, but we don't have enough issues yet. So if you want there to be an omnibus, you have to keep supporting the book so that we have enough issues for it to be an omnibus, at least an omnibus soon. Add all the info from the yeah. The thing about the show is sometimes there are some things I discuss on the show that I put little snippets of them in the letters page. So if you want to get information that we mentioned on the show, those ones probably come more in the letters page of the floppies.
Right.
But for the omnibus, I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. I've not done an omnibus yet, so I don't even know if they will reach out to me to be like, "Hey, do you have anything for the back matter?" Or do they put like my script there, or do they put like art and designs? I don't know yet. This series has a lot of designs, so there's going to be so many cool designs to put at the back there.
That'll probably sell the book right there by itself. It's the design.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Stephen Turner. Thank you for the super chat. Super chats get priority in questions here. Does Murewa have a favorite issue he has written of what we have read so far? My favorite issue was number 4 because that's the moment with her father. I really appreciate all the emotional moments you adding in. Yes, you are.
Okay. The issues written so far. I think which was my favorite.
He has to think.
This question is that, because I always love all of them the most at the time I'm writing them, which helps.
Yeah.
Which one of your children do you love the most?
Exactly. When I was writing it, maybe because it took a lot of time, I really, really, really liked 9. But when it was done, I got scared that people would not like it. I got really scared.
Why?
Oh no, I thought some people might get confused by all the multiple scenes and all the multiple beats before they coalesce into a single point.
Thank you to Butterfly Kiss for the $20 super chat. Appreciate you. You're the best Storm writer ever, by the way. I don't think that's even a question at this point.
I think my favorite might be 4, like Steven said, based on writing the scene of the father and Storm, getting to put more jokes and be epic and be scary. But definitely, if it's about the ones I've written so far, it's Thunder War so far. The Thunder War issues.
Okay.
Get the feeling issue 10 through 12 is going to be something special, y'all. Howard Yates says, is Storm going to pull a Wanda and eat Eternity to gain his power? Because I am here for
it. Eternity is, tougher than that. And man, you're going to see that Eternity is all levels of messed up in this story arc.
All right, next question. What does it mean to be a Storm Guard in Marvel now that they can become powerful enough to blow up abstract entities?
Yes. Okay. That just occurred to me. that's one of the things that I wanted to explore in this story. I've been seeing that online too. We've seen that's the very strange thing about eternity that people have not really explored that I want to explore. When you are arranging the cosmic entities by, power scale or who can fight and stuff like that, eternity doesn't usually rank very high. It can't beat, Oblivion, for example, or the Living Tribunal or something. But despite that, you would see beings inside eternity, inside the universe, achieve those feats. We've seen Thanos. We've seen Thanos beat eternity, even though Thanos is just an aspect of eternity, quote unquote. Is a being inside eternity. And it's those stories that fascinated me when I was, just reading old Marvel books. You could see a story maybe where Thor beat Oblivion, and you're like, how is that even possible? If everything in the universe is eternity, and eternity could not beat Oblivion, how is Thor able to beat Oblivion? How is he even able to have a chance? What is going on here? And I'm like, so it felt like an inconsistency to me. And I think there's a story where Thanos became the one above all. And things that are like, how is this happening? Does this even make any sense anymore? And then it occurred to me that that's part of it. That's part of the law. Eternity is probably suffering from some serious level of self-hatred and self-denial and some crazy things that aspects of him can achieve things he can't achieve, and I also see him as a creator. That's one aspect. And secondly, I also see him as a creator. We, for example, as humans, we are also creators. We create machines now that are drawing faster than we can draw, with showing more details than we would have in a fraction of the time. We are creating machines that would beat us in a game of chess. We are creating machines that are stronger than us. And we're doing all those things. Like, if eternity is a creator entity, it's expected that he can create something that surpasses him. And that's part of his attributes. That he can create something and one of those things is Hadad. The fact that he created Hadad and Hadad can surpass him, can do things he can't do. And it's part of the law, it's part of it, because he's a creator entity. Other entities can't do it. You see Death. Who is Death's avatar? Someone created by eternity. Who are the agents of the Never Queen? Beings created by eternity. Who is Quasar? Is the avatar for infinity, created by eternity. All these beings, all these avatars and stuff are beings from our universe, created by eternity. Eternity and the one above all are basically like the two creator entities. So, and you can see that and eternity seems to be the one that we see the most create things that can surpass him. And that's the interesting thing. So when I see people coming up and be like, oh my God, this guy is just, he doesn't know his law. How can a God beat an entity? And it's like, yeah, we've seen Doctor Strange do stuff like that. Why should Doctor Strange be able to face things like Dormammu? Why should, Thor be able to face beings like Galactus, Black Winter, and some of all those things? It's that thing, it's that special attribute about eternity. He can create things that surpass him, especially if it's one aspect or the other. You would see some graphs that will show eternity's intelligence and then show intelligence of something like Reed Richards. And Reed Richards always seem more than eternity's intelligence. And you're like, how is that possible? And it's because it's the creator entity. So those are the things I've been. Thanos was what inspired me to really delve into that thinking, and I'm going to explore that. So it's part of the things we explore in Thunder War. Why are some beings stronger than entities, even though naturally entities are more powerful? And it's normal. If you are familiar with Greek mythology, it happens in Greek mythology too. It's if you're well versed in these things, you would see some of those connecting tissues. What do I mean? Naturally, gods are more. Let me just pick one aspect: beauty. Gods are more beautiful than humans, in Greek mythology, But in one generation, they will just give birth to a human that is just so beautiful that all the humans are like, how is this person this beautiful? And some gods will start disguising themselves as humans just to come and look at this person's beauty, And then suddenly the goddess of beauty will get jealous and show up and be like, well, this person is beautiful, but not as beautiful as I am. And everybody will be like, who's going to tell her? Who's going to tell her that this human surpasses the goddess of beauty in beauty, And they're like, how is that even possible? How are you more beautiful than the goddess of beauty? And usually in Greek mythology, it ends with the goddess getting angry and turning you into a spider monster or a snake monster or something. I think those are one of the origins of the Gorgon sisters or something. So Medusa or something. So so it's those kind of things that I'm kind of bringing into the cosmology, that yes, you can have warriors that are like, I'm a human, give me the right weapons and I will beat Harris in war. So those are the kind of things, and those are kind of things they're trying to visit. And Hadad is one of those beings to be like, I'm a god, but I'm going to slaughter the cosmic entities one after the other because I'm just that guy. And it's always been in mythology, and it's always been in Marvel mythology as well.
All right, so Collector Birdie Nietzsche says, question, how does the death of oblivion lack an obvious universal consequence when the end of death causes the creation of a cancerverse? Damn,
because
always goes
death,
deep.
Because death exists within the universe, oblivion exists outside of the universe.
Succinct answer. Is the presence of Abraxas in the universe the reason why the death of oblivion doesn't impact the universe?
No, it's another reason entirely. Oblivion is not one of the guiding forces of the universe. If you remember issue 5, death was not originally supposed to be part of the universe, but eternity eventually got death, maybe to prevent something like the cancer verse happening to him, or he found a way to make it work. So now death is one of the guiding principles in the universe, because death exists inside the universe, but oblivion is outside. The oblivion void is outside the universe. So if something happens to the oblivion void, the effects would not easily impact the universe because it has its own ecosystem.
Next question. Where's mine? There we go. How is Abraxas present when Galactus is currently alive? Doesn't Galactus serve as his seal? Was he released when Thor killed him?
Yeah. Okay, let me also use this to also answer another question. Some people said, why is Abraxas back? Since he was the ultimate nullifier, removed him from existence. And it's like, a lot of things were removed from existence. Abraxas was introduced, I think, in 2001, but Secret Wars was published around 2015 by Jonathan Hickman. and a lot of things were removed from existence during that time too. So, but after Secret Wars, everything came back. So I'm saying Abraxas also came back. Now, the Abraxas Galactus dynamic is guided by eternity, because they are supposed to be like this check and balance inside eternity. Eternity wills it to be that. But now that eternity needs both of them for this war, it can allow it.
Who redesigned Abraxas? Was he redesigned during Hickman's God series?
The Storm series redesigned Abraxas.
All right.
We are dope like that.
Will Maggot's fighting style lean into freestyle wrestling with elements of brawler and technical?
Is so far, I think Maggot's style is just fighting style is just going to be, I'm going to keep smashing you till I win or something. Nothing too technical going on with his fighting style right now. Is still getting used to his power, and all he's just doing is, like One Punch Man. We don't even know if One Punch Man's fighting style yet, because nobody has been able to challenge him for him to like show his fighting style. Everyone is ended in one punch. So that's kind of like the realm Maggot is in for now, till he meets a worthy opponent.
Will he incorporate any high-flying lucha libre style as well?
Hopefully in the future.
Will he get his own analog to this? He's very obsessed with his fighting style. Will he get his own analog to the Stone Cold Stunner, Jackknife, etc.? He knows you're into wrestling, so he's asking all these wrestling questions.
We'll see.
Is her dad or her daddy's current design specifically for the female and queer gaze?
It's for everybody's gaze.
Why can't Eternity be complete with a Storm and not with other hosts?
We kind of dropped into it a little. It might be because of Storm's lineage is different from the other gods' lineage, and firstly, the previous hosts have not been gods. So it's like Eternity has been trying different things to be like, is it working against Oblivion? Is not working? Is it working? Is it working? So after Eternal Madness, it needs something to work. So the elder gods come into being then around 3 billion years ago. And their purpose is basically to sprout the gods, and the first storm god is Hadad, for one reason or the other that will be revealed later. They have a clash that it doesn't work. So maybe that makes him abandon Gaia's line. And it's like, okay, which other line can I try? Oh, let's try Oshto. What's happening in Oshto? This one is a magician. All of them are humans that have little proclivity to magic, But there's one here, that is almost acting like a god, but he's not completely a god, Like, let's try this one. And it's like, yeah, this is it, So she has a different origin story to the rest.
Did Aurora's confinement aggravated by or made more unpleasant due to her claustrophobia? Okay. Being locked up in the federal prison, did that mess up her claustrophobia?
No, is it the confinement? I think in this story, she wasn't particularly put in too much of an enclosed space. The jail still had, bars still open, and interrogation room was open. But if it's about eternity, everything is mixed together. What she went through as a child, generally, the claustrophobia because of the crashing, of the house on her, where she spent days under rubble, and also what she experienced when someone offered her a ride on her journey back to Kenya. So all that plays into why it was unpleasant for her being possessed by eternity, if that's what you're saying. But if it's in the police station, she didn't face anything space related per se.
All right. Why did Abraxas call Storm the Eternal One?
Because eternity was in control, and eternity is the eternal one.
Okay, good pickup. Now that Storm has discovered that there is an entity inside her, we have a face-to-face between Storm and eternity, something profound? I think that's inevitable.
Yeah. So it's probably not going to take the form you expect, but yes.
Seeing how the government agency utilized underhanded tactics like getting a demonic third party to destabilize Limbo, did they try this before?
They probably have, and they will try something worse in the future. The past might not be as interesting as if they can do this now. Imagine what they will do in the future. That's the fun part. So, because they've not been defeated, it's not like, oh yeah, they were killed or anything. It's just Storm was able to legally get away. We don't know how they're going to come up later.
The past is always prologue. Are they behind the scenes causing chaos cosmically and interdimensionally to weaken perceived threats to America? Now you're getting deep.
Things they cause are more grounded because we want Storm to face one of the things I was charged with, like I've said, for this Storm series is basically make Storm a solo hero. So I'm trying to establish, like I said, different types of threats so that moving forward, there won't be, quote unquote, any excuses to be like, oh yeah, Storm is too powerful, you don't know the kind of stories to tell with her. So while we want to tell the cosmic stories, which I'm really, really interested in, I also want to also tell those grounded stories too, because so that people don't say, oh, because she's this super powerful character, you can never tell an X-Men story with her ever again. I want to show that you still can. So they feeling into that more grounded kind of thing. We're still going to see more political thriller in this after Thunder War 2. She's going to run for office. I don't want to say which office yet, and I hope they green light it. So all those things, we're going to see things that we saw how interesting this issue was. And if you notice, she was not in any superhero costume in this issue. She did not fight in this issue. And yet it was very interesting. Those are the kind of things we want to show, that if Storm, even without the costume, can be an interesting character. You can have Storm, walking into, like we had in issue 4, negotiating can be interesting, like talking with Dr. Doom. She can play some of these roles. It doesn't always have to be about her power levels. It doesn't always have to be about, oh, when a big bad shows up in the X-Men book, oh, let's now bring Storm to help us solve it. That feels like that's the only time they remember to use her. So if you can show that you can have interesting stories even when she doesn't use her power at all. In these last 2 issues, she didn't use her powers at all. And you can still have an interesting story with her. So those are the kind of things we're trying to establish.
World building. Are they behind this? Let's see. Next question.
Well, while they're doing that, I want to know, when are we going to see my favorite costume again?
Is that Brutus Storm or which one?
My favorite one is the black and gold, the Avengers one.
Oh, nice. Man, you might not see it until like
I had a feeling
after the event. You might not see it still after the event because she's in armor throughout Thunder War.
Yeah, I figured. I just want to see Lucas Wernick draw an action scene with it one time because he hasn't yet.
Yeah, he hasn't yet. It's going to be armor throughout the Thunder War. It's sick.
Okay. But I like the armor. Okay, I'm good with that.
Is her hair locked or wet?
Braided.
Will we see a magic cameo coming soon since Limbo is involved in the story?
No magic cameo soon, but you'll see the ramifications of what happened here in the magic book.
Okay. Why is Haddad so dang powerful?
I already said that because eternity is a creator entity, and creators know how to create things that surpass them.
By the way, is there any reason why Fabi changes from purple to black?
Lucas had his original design, which got lost while exchanging things with the colorist. So we properly fully establish his colors in this issue. If you also notice too, in the previous issue, Etienne has white hair in the previous issue, and she's supposed to have red hair because she's an African ginger. So that shows up more in this issue. So a lot of little things. I told you we're still getting used to like the hair and some of those things and skin color. So all that was fully established in this issue. So moving forward, you start seeing Fabi look more like he looked in this issue. He wears white suits rather than gray. And Etienne will have more of red hair and red skin, like an African ginger rather than white and pale skin.
What country is Etienne? What country is Etienne from?
She's Haiti.
Okay, I figured as much. All right, question: how long has this federal agency existed, and did it have any connections or dealings with SHIELD or SWORD?
They basically have the same history with our FBI, but Marvel Universe happened to them.
All right,
it's the FBI.
Can Storm control entities in Eternity realm like Phoenix, Limbo, higher level entities, mutants, etc., similar to Abraxas?
Let me read the question again. Some control entities. Not really. The reason why Abraxas and Eternity have this link is because Abraxas is Eternity's child, so their connection is different. And Abraxas was born out of Eternity's core. They have a piece of each other in themselves. So maybe something like Entropy. Entropy 2 is another one. Entropy 2 might have that kind of link with Eternity. There are some entities like that called the Children of Eternity that would have that link with Eternity. But for example, even though Eternity is higher than Law and Order, I don't think Eternity will be able to control Law and Order like that. Even though life also exists within Eternity, I don't think Eternity will be able to control life like that, because they're like their own separate entities, especially ones that are like higher up, like the Queen of Nevers, Phoenix, all those stuff. Eternity will not be able to. There has to be this tight connection and stuff. Most of them still have this extreme free will.
Will this agency approach the Kree to find a way to usurp Brood's control of the Brood and remove a powerful asset from the mutants? What's that to do with Storm?
They could do that if it's relevant to the story. Yes, they are that crazy. That's the kind of shenanigans they will be up to.
You got a fresh cut. What? I shaved my beard.
Yes, you see, we noticed something.
And I took off my hat because I'm out of town tonight.
Look clean, man. You're looking clean.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Will Korra of the Burning Heart make an appearance? Iska made an appearance, so Korra would be a natural next step.
We'll see.
We'll see. Will we see all that Eternity did that Storm wasn't aware of? All those blackouts.
Yeah, we'll see one major terrible thing that he did while Storm was at the blackouts.
Okay.
It's why her dad is back.
Oh, okay. Is Abraxas actually dead here and Eternity is controlling him through Storm like the organic lie detector?
I know, right?
He's not answering that. Read the book. Hadad has Hadad weaponized Eternity before. So even if they aren't connected, he has motive for that whooping.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that scene with Eternal Storm and Abraxas a call to Christ on the cross saying, Father, into your hands I command my spirit, in the sense of total submission?
Maybe subconsciously, but it was more of Avatar The Last Airbender that was in my head.
I love that answer. Akagon was dope. When are we getting the rest, sir? That's a good question.
We're still waiting on Oni Press. I think Oni Press wants to be able to recoup all the money.
Wow. Okay. When do the trials of Aurora officially begin?
Technically, they've subtly begun, but they get more as we continue.
I think dying and coming back to life was a major trial.
like the FBI right now is a trial, and when it comes to different trials, there are different aspects of you that has to solve it. In every of these stories about trials, there's always one about the redo, right? Where you don't use your power or might, you use your intelligence. This was one of them with the FBI, where she had to get out of it by using her intelligence, not her power, not everything. So the trials have begun, but they are not all up in your face like, your first trial shall be, Another trial was her going into the forest to get the serpents, to get the anaconda that has the super soldier serum. That feels like something like, oh, Hercules, go and get this hydra in the distance, or go and get this lion in the distance. So that's our own hydra, that's our own hydra there, so she's been doing those trials. It's just not been super obvious, but it's been dropping.
Hadar Yao asked, do the elder gods like Oshtur and Thon also descend from Gaia?
No, they are now I can't find the word, but the closest word to it is mates. They are basically mates with Gaia. They are not lower or higher than her.
Like siblings almost.
Yeah.
Isn't Aurora's divinity also watered down compared to the other thunder deities, since she is generations removed from her divine ancestor?
That's the thing. We don't know what it means to be a descendant of Oshtur. When you're a descendant of Gaia, oh yeah, it makes sense. It's like, oh yeah, if you're a direct descendant of Gaia, you are a god, or like a titan or something, or the supreme god, And as you go down the line, if another god, you're still a god. But if it's with another human, you're a demigod. We know all those laws when it comes to Gaia's children, but we don't know that for Oshtor's children. We know that for Oshtor's descendants. Does the power just skip like 5,000 generations and just goes to the next one? Boom. We don't know. So that's the peculiarity with, because she's not from Gaia, so we don't know the rules. So and we have to now define the rules and discover the rules. So that's the fun part.
Isn't Abraxas essentially a powered up version of Owen Reese, the molecule man, a powerful bomb capable of destroying an entire multiverse versus a solitaire universe like Owen Reese can?
Yeah, if you see it that way. But the thing about entities is that the very concept of it is what they represent. Like, you all have ways of destroying things, but the concept of destruction itself is this thing, is this entity. So yeah, but if you want to think about it that way, yeah, it's a powered up molecule man in that sense. But yeah.
Kevin asks, who is the cover artist on that cover B on issue 10? That's an Antoine question.
I already said that.
Yeah, that's Betsy Cola, the Retrovision variant. Yeah, Karen Darbo has one coming out too. They just haven't revealed it yet.
Northern Panero, Mr. Ayodele, good evening. In which edition do you intend to show why only Aurora was able to give total freedom and power to eternity? Um abraço do Brasil para vós. I think that translates to hugs from Brazil to you. If my Portuguese
loves from Nigeria too. I thank you for all the Brazil fans. Have been lovely. It's not going to be all at once, but we're going to be getting gradual information to why Storm is different. But we're going to get somewhat of an explanation in Storm 12, the finale of Thunder War.
Can we expect more Iska and Laktuka? I love how today also marks the anniversary of when the first Krakoan age ended.
Oh, nice. Iska and Laktuka, I'm still waiting for after this event that's coming so I can know the state of Arako fully.
Okay, sounds big. Is Maggot going to be sneaky and have Iska align with Storm and himself to ensure they have an advantage in the Thunder War? Only if he's smart.
Having Iska on your team is risky because then she could just change sides and then you are done. Better not to have her in the battleground at all.
Yeah, that's a good point. Will we ever learn about why Storm's marks on her face change based on what armor uniform she wears?
Design,
it looks cool.
Baby.
Yeah, I was gonna say it just looks cool. Some things are not that deep. Question: what do we need to do to get a David Mack Storm cover? You could pick up one of the variants for that new book we just talked about.
The World to Come.
He wants it for a Storm book. They want it for a Storm book.
They want it just for a Storm book.
I don't know. Maybe right.
Do you have input on that? Do you have input on that? Like who gets to do your variant?
I don't have input on that, but I'm thinking of a way to like, because I don't like when people tag editors and start saying things. Maybe write it as a letter, and editors will read it when I read it to respond to.
I wonder if Althea Martinez reached out because I know she wanted to do a Storm variant too.
Althea Martinez?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be fire. That would be absolute fire. She wants to do an actual whole book, by the way. Can Aurora throw her tiara like a boomerang, just saying like that other chick does it? That's funny.
She's throwing it.
That would be nice.
It'd be cool if she were to throw it with like a lightning bolt or something.
Yeah. And then Haddad catches it and destroys it.
Do you think we will see another powerful tournament with a new roster?
If I had more page counts, I would have even shown like the final winner. I had a whole draw and everything. I'm hoping like this is just the first round, and as we come back after Thunder War and after the big events, they would occasionally do meetups to like do another round till we find the final winner.
All right, just a few more questions here. Is Abraxas the second entity you mentioned that will Storm will also host to?
No. And I might have changed my plans on that, by the way. But if she hosts that second entity, it's not going to be Abraxas, it's another one. But there's also all these things are too spoilery. But
don't go there if it's spoiler. Don't go there.
Yeah.
My follow-up to that would be, how many issues have you written thus far?
That's the funny thing. Thunder War is hard. It's very, very hard. I'm still currently writing the finale of Thunder War, while also writing the event after too. So I'm doing that at the same time.
All right, take it easy, man. We're not your editor. You don't have to worry about that. I appreciate the vast amount of intricate details you've connected in this issue. Is death now contained by Hadad?
No.
Which entity
we don't know
is
where
death? Are we talking about Thanos' death? Are we talking about the death that Storm danced with?
No, F that's death. That death is not on this level.
There are many different death gods, apparently.
Yeah. Right. So is death the one that Thanos is in love with? Oh, we've not seen death yet. But so far, is in Amazing Spider-Man in Agent Coulson's body.
Okay. Does Storm keep her cosmic awareness without eternity now?
She can read energy. She can read energy, but not full-on cosmic awareness.
Nah. Yeah, as I say, yeah, she always had energy awareness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Eternity make Storm call to Twilight in a drunk Dahel fashion during one of the Black? That would be funny.
That would be funny. But Eternity might end up ruining things
even more so.
Yeah. Is this a situation where Storm and Eternity will have
more vibranium?
That's more vibranium. Is this a situation where Storm and Eternity will have to come to some sort of relationship building? If it's going to be part of her and vice versa, will Eternity need to learn to submit to her?
Now you're getting the story.
There you go.
That's gonna just to give a little spoiler, but it's not a spoiler, is the main antagonist of this story. There are many antagonists, and that's what makes for an interesting saga. Like Invincible, there are many antagonists, but the very, very main antagonist is not Oblivion. even though he's a main antagonist, it's not Hadad. Even though he's a main antagonist, it's
the real villain.
Yeah. So it has the main antagonist been revealed yet?
Have we seen him?
Oh, okay.
It's Eternity, because from the very first issue, Eternity has been a problem to Storm.
Yeah.
From trying to kill her to so many things. And look at the possession, what it does to her emotionally. Eternity has been the entity that is a threat to her life, at the same time a threat to her emotionally, at the same time a threat to her relationships. Eternity has been a threat to her all round, every aspect of her.
Yeah, because I'm sure the Avengers are like, well, where the hell is she?
Eternity, even in real world terms, Eternity is the reason why some Cyclops fans are still going around trying to give the book bad reviews, because Eternity beat Cyclops in issue 6. So that's all Eternity.
Yeah,
is the real villain.
Here's the thing, though. You said early on in one of the shows, someone asked you, "Can Storm beat Eternity?" And you said, "No, Eternity is way more powerful than Storm." But the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It would stand to reason. We've seen Maggot build an army, form coalitions to build an army. You see the U.S. government trying to form coalitions to build an army. It would stand to reason that Storm would form coalitions to build an army to go up against Eternity, and all the pieces are there. You have Oblivion, you have Hadad, you have the Storm Gods. She has pieces on the board that if she can form a coalition with these pieces, she could go up against Eternity at some point.
But that's the thing. If you kill Eternity, you're all dead too.
Right.
But then you're all dead too. So maybe not kill him as much as
that's
goes back to submit part.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what makes him a very interesting villain.
Right.
He can do anything to you, but you can't do everything to him
You have to be
because
careful.
it will affect you too. So
Yeah.
he's the perfect villain.
Yeah. Shout out Sean
So,
Damian Hill.
So it's funny when some people are like, oh yeah, this book is just there for eternity to gas Storm up, and it's like, dude, you do know that eternity is the villain of the story.
He's the villain the whole time. Come on, dude. The people just, yeah, whatever.
All right, we got one last question here because Paul's got to go get some sleep. What is preventing cosmically aware characters like Strange, Phoenix, Phyla-Vell from sensing Abraxas?
Oh, they can sense that, but they are all busy.
And the whole world is taken over by Doom right now, so there's that going on.
Yeah, Phyla-Vell, the one that has that crazy cosmic awareness, is dead. But Phyla-Vell, that's Captain Marvel, I don't think has that much of cosmic awareness. Phoenix is busy with her own thing. What was the other character? Strange is in Asgard. So yeah. So that's the thing. So it's a strange world right now where Storm is like the cosmically aware and cosmically relevant character on Earth. All the rest are scattered to the winds.
All right. Why are my likes still low? Everyone, if you have enjoyed the program, if you have enjoyed what Murewa shared with you tonight, keep our show going, keep our channel going. Please hit the like button right now. Just go ahead, hit the little right there, the check thumb up. Hit that, not the one that goes down, the one that goes up. Hit that, and share the video if you would. It costs you nothing, and it helps our algorithm to ride the wave to success. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Murewa, for your time. Antoine, thank you for your time. Everyone in the chat, we'll see you in what, 50 days, you said?
Oh,
yeah, 50 days.
A long time, dude.
It's gonna be
a long time. Boy, it's going to be worth it.
It's going to be worth
it.
We're going to have to do something epic for issue 10.
Yes.
Do something epic. I'll have to think about that. But
wait
until
till
next
12,
time.
Since 12 is when we break the record.
Yeah.
For being the longest running Storm series.
Yeah.
We'll have to do a celebration. There may be alcohol involved. Until next time.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Black Comic Lords. We got you.
Bye.